Okay. Cheers, everyone. I am Amy Mitchell with Houses of Windsor, and this is Virtual Tea Time with Amy. And today, my special guest is Cheryl. Is it Echevarria? Did
You
I say it
got
right?
it. You
All
got
right.
it.
Awesome. So, thank you so much for being on, Cheryl. Um,
Oh, thank you very much for inviting me today.
yeah, so before we get too far into it, what are you drinking and where are you calling from, like city and state?
Well, I'm in Kissimmee, Florida, not too
Mm-hmm.
far from you, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm having some Earl Grey tea.
Nice, very nice. So I'm in, yeah, Altamont Springs in Florida, and I actually did something different. So I have a like kind of like a classic black tea, like British blend black tea, but then I mixed some of my lavender in it, and it's really good.
Mm,
So now I'm starting to play with like my own concoctions.
sounds good.
Mhm. So, okay. So we know each other through BNI, which anyone who's seen, even probably just a couple of my other episodes will know that I have BNI people on a lot and that I'm all about BNI. So, because Cheryl, how long have you been in it in BNI?
I've been with BNI since 2017, and I actually am one of the original members of my chapter here in
Oh,
Lake
cool.
Nona. So I am one of the original launch members, and I'm currently one of the visitor hosts.
Hmm.
And as of October 1st, I move up to secretary.
Oh, very nice. Are you
Yeah,
excited for that?
I am. I've been
Mhm.
wanting the position for a while,
Oh.
and I've done it with many other organizations that I've been with, and I'm very comfortable with that
Mhm.
position as well.
Right. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm going to be membership committee, which I already was for half of last year because I stepped in when someone had to leave the chapter, suddenly. So I've already kind of experienced it, but now I'll be like official, official in the membership committee. And I like it. It's nice. But so, Cheryl, why don't you tell everyone what it is that you do? What's your business?
Well, I am a travel advisor, or some people may recognize it as a travel agent.
Mhm.
I've been doing that since 2008.
Mhm.
Professionally, before that, as an administrative assistant,
Mhm.
I would, book my own friends and families trips.
Oh
Plus,
wow.
at work, I do the boss and the sales team's
Mhm.
personal and business travel arrangements.
Wow.
And I just love doing it. I love doing all aspects of travel, from the little things, the finding the client, that maybe that special place to have a romantic dinner in
Mhm.
France, or that special Broadway show, or they want to go diving somewhere. I do as much or as little as the client needs and wants for their travel.
That's awesome. And I got to say, before you did this professionally, you must have been an awesome family member and friend to have because for people like me, I absolutely hate booking trips and planning trips. It's all too overwhelming.
Well, you know
So,
what? I just love geography. I love
mhm,
destinations. I love being intricate. I grew up, with travel. I loved traveling as a kid.
mhm.
I had great teachers in geography. I love reading books. So all aspects, from food and wine to exploring, I love everything about it.
That's awesome. So, where have you been that you think is like the coolest place that you've been, or like one of your favorite places?
One of the most favorite places that I have been
Hmm.
is Cuba.
Oh, okay.
And because for many years and even today, we still
Hmm.
have the embargo going on there.
Right.
It's not a place where everybody can go anytime you want. It's very restrictive. And, uh, you know, growing up with Castro being in power and everything, and the Castro still being
Hmm.
in power, people don't realize that before, the 1950s and 60s, when all this started,
Hmm.
that Cuba was very it's always still been very historical with the famous authors and the artists and the food and the entertainment there and the history of Cuba. So when we got to go, it was like it was fantastic. We only
Yeah.
got to go to Havana.
Oh wow.
We didn't go to Santiago or any of the other destinations, but we went to the squares and the famous cemetery and the Tropicana. That's one of the oldest, and they play every single day.
Oh wow.
It's a theater dance club.
Hmm.
So it's fantastic, and we really enjoyed going. And we took a group with us, so everybody that went enjoyed as well.
That's really cool. That sounds so my mom would love to travel to Cuba. That's a place that she's always wanted to go. And I guess for a little bit when it was kind of like you could go if you were like I don't know what was it? Like there were like either missionaries or like some kind of educational thing. She thought she was going to get a chance to go and then whatever happened it didn't work out. So she still has it
Well,
on her list.
she can still go. I mean, we still handle stuff like that. I
Yeah.
do have tour companies. Usually, if it's through a church or a missionary, they have certain licenses that you could go. Same with
Mhm.
uh, medical, same with outreach, and there is some tours. Excuse me, got the
Yeah,
hiccups.
you're
I
okay. Perfect
didn't do
timing.
that live. Sorry, everybody, got the hiccups. But what I'm gonna say is there are some tour companies out there that do Cuba, but with the pandemic going on, Cuba is not one of the islands that you can travel to right now.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's what I was wondering what was going on with COVID there. Is it more like that like are they having a lot of issues with it or they're just keeping everyone out so that they
They're
don't
keeping everybody out, believe it or not. Their health system in Cuba,
Mhm.
even though that they're a communist party and everything like that, they have some of the best medical for
Mhm.
in the world. In fact, sometimes a lot of people go to
Oh
Cuba
wow.
just to get something done,
Mhm.
but they're keeping people out due to they because they're such a tiny island
Right, right.
that
They can't.
they don't want to have people in.
Right.
So those tours that were going on
Mhm.
were stopped until whenever they have things changed and just to say they are quite expensive, the land destinations versus the opportunity to cruise,
Mhm.
which is not available any longer. But it's quite a bit of expense to go to Cuba, and it's very complicated with
Mhm.
licensing to do that. So you need the right tour operator to work with, and
Right.
I do have those licensed
Mhm.
tour operators for Cuba once we're open again to travel.
Right. Well, that's good to know then. I'll tell my mom. I mean, she'll watch this, so hi mom. But yeah, here's your ticket to Cuba.
Exactly.
Cheryl get you there after COVID.
That's right. I'll get you there anywhere you want to go.
So then where is a place that you have not been that you is like on your list that you really want to go
Oh,
to?
there are so many places that I want to go because I just love the world. I want to go to Egypt because I just
Oh.
love Egyptology and the mummies
Mhm.
and the swan. In fact, my ex-husband was from Egypt. Unfortunately, I didn't get
Oh, yeah.
to go. My
Mm.
daughter gets to go all the time.
Oh.
I know, right? But another place I want to go is Japan,
Mm.
Vietnam. I love the Asian countries. So,
Mhm.
and almost any place, especially here in the U.S. I love our own country as well. There's so many places that I haven't been here in the U.S. that I want to go to. Like,
Mhm.
I want to go out west. I want to go do some of the river cruising here in the U.S.
Oh yeah.
There's so many places. The Rocky Mountains, go up to
Mhm.
Canada and see Lake Louise, and oh my God, there's just so many places that I want to see and do.
You can't pick just one. You got a
No,
whole
and that's a
list.
good
Yeah.
thing as well
Yeah,
too.
no,
Yeah.
that's good. So what would be, I don't know if this is too much of like a pop quiz question, but what is like a place that people like, pandemic aside, we'll talk about travel outside of the pandemic being a thing. So, where is a place that people like have the biggest misconception that it's expensive to travel? Like, what's the like, around the world or whatever? What's a place where people think they can't afford it, but then it ends up being more affordable?
I think when people are planning, it's not so much the expense. I think it's more people
Okay.
not knowing. Like
Ah.
one of the biggest destinations that I love serving, whether you're a kid or not, is Walt Disney World.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, it's opened. Yes, I was just talking about that this morning on my show. I do daily
Yeah.
update and I do a weekly podcast, which I'll have
Mm-hmm.
you on eventually. Is
Mm-hmm.
that people don't know. They don't know how to plan for it, so they think it's oh my God, it's so expensive to go to Walt Disney World.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the resorts, all the tickets, all the dining. Oh my God.
Right.
But if that's why I say I'm a more of an advisor than a travel agent because
Mm-hmm.
I would rather just sit and chat with you, whether it's about going to Disney or going to Europe. People
Right.
don't understand what they need and want. And
Mm-hmm.
once they sit down and I say, look, you're not going tomorrow. Let's plan it out maybe 6 or 8 months out.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Do a deposit, do payment plans, and let's say, okay, can you afford a luxury resort at Disney or can you afford a value resort?
Mm-hmm.
It's still on the same property. It's just that,
Right.
what's your budget? Do you
Right.
want hopper tickets, which means you're going to more than one park each day? Do you
Mm-hmm.
want the dining? Sometimes the dining option plan with Disney is not for you, and it's like
Right.
eat on the go. You don't have to make the reservations, but
Right.
or if you're gonna, oh, I really want to eat at Cinderella's castle, then you need to know how far ahead to plan out to get that
Oh,
ticket.
right. Right. Mm-hmm.
So it's more of people are scared that they don't know the reality of how much something's going to
Mm-hmm.
be because they'll go online and they'll price it down like, oh, I looked online, it's too expensive for me. I said, well,
Right.
what did you look at?
Right.
And that's the problem when you're looking for yourself. Sometimes you're just looking at everything and you're like,
Right.
well, what's the difference? Well, I want to be at the monorail, but
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, that's going to be the most expensive resort because you're on the monorail,
Mm-hmm.
you're at the Magic Kingdom, but you have four other parks. You can't move your hotel next to the next one. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, find out exactly what's the most important part of your trip, the hotel or where you're going to be there
I
for.
see. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that makes sense. Yeah, that would be good because I mean, obviously, I live in Orlando now, so it's like I can just do it as like a day trip. But I'm from Indiana, so it used to be a big deal to,
Okay.
plan a Disney trip, and I just can't imagine, yeah, trying to do it on my own and assuming that I'm picking the right prices or planning it out the right way. Like,
Exactly. I mean, if you're going to do Christmas versus
oh,
during
right,
2 weeks before Christmas, it's still decorated for the holidays,
right,
but you're not paying that Christmas price.
right, right.
So that's another thing when people are planning to travel. Some people have to plan when the kids are out of school. So we have to go around that time when they could travel as well. That could put different options or pricing in somebody's face
Mm-hmm.
other than can you take the kids out of school a couple of days
Right.
and I mean now with the kids out in or out a lot of them
Yeah.
studying from
Right.
home that they could travel and still do the
Right.
classes with a
That's
laptop.
cool. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. That's cool. And so oh yeah, so travel's been like a thing your whole life that you've loved.
Oh yeah.
And you said you have a podcast it's about travel, right? Is that what?
Yes, it's called
Okay.
Talk Travel with Cheryl, and it comes and I interview my clients, not live, but I record it,
Oh,
and
okay.
then I post it on Fridays on my Facebook page. It's available either on your local podcast station or it's available on YouTube. So
Mm-hmm.
uh, it's either a BNI member or it's
Mm-hmm.
a travel partner from either cruise line or Disney or something
Oh,
like
cool.
that. that comes on and I interview them and they do a presentation. A lot lately with the COVID and the
Mm-hmm.
safety of traveling and what things they have in place for people.
Mm-hmm.
Because people don't realize, yes, things are open. Yes, you can travel. Things are safe.
Right.
Like the one I have out today, I actually interviewed a BNI member of my chapter,
Mm-hmm.
and she does Shaklee products. And we're talking about health and wellness before and
Mm-hmm.
after traveling. And her husband is a flight attendant with Delta, so
Oh wow.
we talked about wearing the masks and
Yeah.
empty seats on the planes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a lot of that as well.
Right, right. Yeah, my mom just came to visit from Indiana and she flew Southwest and she said, yeah, they have like the middle seat is empty. But what was funny is that the flight attendants, at the beginning said basically it was like, don't think that you're gonna fool us by like eating and drinking the whole time to keep your mask off.
Oh yeah,
Like, you take your drink and you put your mask on.
right.
Like we know what loopholes you're trying to get past
Do
us.
I know people think I get it?
Yes, I thought that was funny. But do you know, are all the airlines spacing out? Because I heard like, I don't know, Allegiant, Spirit, those types of airlines aren't enforcing spaced
I
seating.
really don't know.
Yeah.
And honestly, unless I'm on a plane, which I haven't been,
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't give that you know real
Right.
feedback on it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, when we do travel and stuff, we do, I always take a live video or YouTube
Oh, nice.
and post it out there so people know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that because of all this, the airlines are cutting back on their fees,
Mm-hmm.
they're changing fees, your
Right.
refunds,
Oh,
and all that.
sorry.
So again, you really need to know what was that?
Sorry. That was my cat. He
Okay.
just walked right
I
across.
was like, what is that fluffy thing? So yes, that's so cute. So yeah, so but the airlines, whether good or bad, they've been forced to change due to the pandemic because the consumers were getting very fed up with
Mm-hmm.
not getting their money back on tickets and rescheduling fees and all that.
Right.
So they've actually cut back on a lot of that,
Okay.
and the government has forced them to do that as well. So.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Do you have any current clients that are trying to make a trip over to like the United Kingdom or like Europe or anything?
Well, that's still close to us. I mean, there are a
Right.
lot
I didn't
of,
know if it was like something you could plan far in advance or like you don't really know what.
I can do that. I mean, I'm
Mhm.
telling my clients, even us for cruising, and cruising is here in the US is not going to be going anywhere at least until January. I don't care what
Right.
the news says, but yeah, we host a couple of groups. We have something planned for April. I'm telling my clients if you want to travel, you could travel now to the Caribbean, Mexico, Tahiti. A lot of places are open you can fly to. But
Hmm.
Europe, I have pricing for next year already. So I
Right.
have next year, and I also have 2022.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, most of it is from April, the second quarter of 2021 and beyond.
Hmm.
So they are forecasting that things will be open, but they also have things in place that if things aren't, that they have, cancellation up until 24 hours prior to travel,
Mm.
full refunds and stuff. So
Wow.
we all have to be patient with the new normal. I mean, we want
Hmm.
everything to change right away, but it's what
Right.
it is until we have some kind of vaccination or until things open and have
Hmm.
safety protocols in place. So
Right.
but it is still safe to travel. If you're going to travel right now,
Hmm.
going on an airplane, they have the hospital HEPA filters on the plane.
Right. Oh yeah, my mom told me that. Yeah. That's pretty
Being at an all-inclusive resort, you're outside anyway versus
cool.
being
Hmm.
on a cruise ship, even though you're outside of a cruise ship, but
Hmm.
90% of people are inside either at casinos or shopping or at
Right.
restaurants and stuff. That's why they're concerned about more of putting the cruise ships out there because
Mhm.
you are more contained.
Right.
Even
Right.
though it's a smaller space on a plane, you still
Hmm.
have, you still have, it's still more. it's still safety
Yeah.
issues with a plane because you have the mask, you got the wipes.
Right.
I mean, the worst. I mean, unless you're going overseas, which you're not, the longest you're going to be on a plane is 3 hours. So it's not
I
like
see.
you're going to be on
Right.
there that long.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. So, are any like business people or anything allowed to travel? Like what are who
Well,
gets
right
to
now
still
they're
go over
allowed.
there?
Right, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but right
Yeah.
now a lot of European countries and China are
Mm-hmm.
being allowed to fly into the U.S. It's just us
I see.
here.
We can't go to them.
Yeah, they're still working on that. Um, with the cruise lines, they still have to submit the safety protocols to the CDC and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I put out yesterday on my 10-minute podcast, like
Mm-hmm.
don't always listen to the news
Mm-hmm.
because I mean, yeah, the media is always stretching things
Mm-hmm.
anytime, but like the news is not always correct. I heard them say, well, there's a no cruise order through September of this year. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, no, I was talking to my husband. I said, that's not right. It's not until October 31st.
Mm-hmm.
And so those things they really need to make sure what they're projecting to the public is correct.
Right. Right.
Some of it isn't. So
Right. Right. Yeah, if they're giving old information as if
yeah,
it's new.
so exactly. So
Right. Yeah, so that's cool. So how long have you been doing the podcast?
I actually used to do my own radio show a couple of years ago, and then I stopped,
Oh,
and
cool.
then I started up again about 3 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it, I mean, uh, I really like talking with my travel partners and
Mm-hmm.
business owners. I love the part of educating my client. I
Mm-hmm.
like to let them know the different options out there, like some of the products out there that because I'm getting older, I don't like
Mm-hmm.
the product anymore. But
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't mean I'm not going to offer it to my client. I can't
Okay.
say because I don't. I'm not. Let's say you want to go to England, and I'm like, oh
Mm-hmm.
my god, I've been to England too many times.
Oh, right, right. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to help you go to England. Right?
Right.
So it's not. So when we get older, some things are not our cup of tea anymore, like a cup of
Mm-hmm.
tea.
Right.
So, but it's good to give our clients options, like you say, misconceptions and experience.
Mm-hmm.
I was, I had Cunard Cruise Lines on last week, which is the
Mm-hmm.
Queen Mary,
Oh,
Queen
okay.
Elizabeth, Queen Victoria cruise ship,
Mm-hmm.
and they were the original cruise liners before
Oh,
Carnival
cool.
and Norwegian and all that. They were
Mm-hmm.
still the classic line. The golden age of cruising,
Mm-hmm.
and people think, oh my God, it's so stuck up and it's so expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about, no, it's not. I mean, yeah, they have the gala balls where you
Oh,
could,
that sounds
or
fun.
just, you don't have to wear a ball gown. If you're not
Mm-hmm.
going to go to the balls, they have other options where you have a
Mm-hmm.
more relaxed area, but they have the masquerade balls.
Oh, cool.
They got roaring 20 balls.
Mm-hmm.
They do the transatlantic from New York to Southampton. So if somebody doesn't want to
Mm-hmm.
fly over, they could take the Queen Mary from New York and do either one way or round trip
Yeah,
to England. So,
that's cool.
and the prices on them are not as, I mean, they're either probably equal to some of the big three out there. So people
Mm-hmm.
think it's like, oh, they think Queen Mary and they think it's
Right.
thousands of dollars and it's not. So
And
it's that
how long is the trip to get from New York to Southampton?
it's a 7 day, but
It's
and people
7 days? Okay.
oh, but people think, what do you do? And there's so many things to do
Oh,
on
yeah, I'm sure
on
there'd be
that.
plenty to do. Yeah.
Exactly, and you know, you could stay a week over in London, or you could take it over to Hamburg, Germany, and then come back.
Mhm.
So there are different options available to people of different things, different types of cruising, different kinds of destinations. So when I tell people I'm a consultant. I'm your advisor. Let's hear what your dream trip looks like, and let's see if we can get it together for you.
Right, right. Okay, so I wanted to ask you, what is, so this may be a tricky question for you because I know how much you're passionate about travel, but that counts as your job now. So
Oh yeah, okay.
my question for you is, what is like a special interest or like hobby or obsession that you have that's not related to work? What's something that
Oh,
yeah,
cooking. I love
cooking?
cooking, cooking
So
and baking.
oh, you like both of them. Okay. I feel like people usually prefer one over the other. Do you have a preference?
Well, my original passion before I got married the first time and had kids is that I wanted to go to the culinary arts in New York.
Oh, nice.
And unfortunately or unfortunately, my life changed for the
Mhm.
better.
Mhm.
And but I still like to cook. I like taking cooking classes and baking classes. I'm upset with Food Network. Um, I love going to Disney doing the food and wine.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love doing cooking themed trips. So
Mhm.
yeah, so it's cooking, and that's one of my passions.
That's awesome. So, where did that passion come from? Like, was someone in your family a good cook or a bad cook? Like, what
That
inspired
cook.
it?
Unfortunately, mom, I love you, but my mom cannot cook. It's true because
Yeah.
my grandfather loved everything burnt.
Oh my
And
gosh.
yeah, well done, well, and I
Uh
couldn't
huh.
do it. And so I learned how to cook myself. I'm the oldest of two kids, and
Mhm.
uh, when I was growing up, my mother went from being a housewife and went back to work. So
Mhm.
at a young age, I had to cook and take care of my sister while she went back to work, and experimented and stuff. I mean, you see it
Mhm.
now on TV. These kids, I
Oh
watch
yeah.
sometimes Master Chef Junior and 8-year-olds that know how to make beef bourguignon
Right.
and keep up with Gordon Ramsay, and they've traveled around the world and they know what they're
Right.
talking about. And I'm like, you go. I mean, I
Yeah,
think
that's
it's
awesome.
fantastic. Yeah. So
Mhm.
look, cooking and baking and anything that has to do with it. Yes.
Yeah. So, do you like? Let's see. So, in like a we'll say a typical week, how many things are you cooking that you've cooked before, and how often are you like trying out a new recipe?
Well, because of my business, my husband is retired and my
Hmm.
husband is taking over some of the jobs. So my
Okay.
husband is now the cook.
Okay, and
Uh,
how's he doing?
he
Do you
does
want
very
to
well. He's from Puerto Rico, so he's very good.
comment?
That's
Okay.
where my last name comes from. My husband's a Puerto Rican,
Okay, okay.
but I bake a lot. I do a lot of breads and cakes and stuff.
Mm.
I do cook once in a while. I still love it, but I love learning and watching if somebody else cook for me. So,
Hmm.
and I like getting my hands dirty on that too. So I say we because of the pandemic, we're eating in every day.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And I'll try something new maybe once a month or something
Hmm.
like that. So yeah,
That's so cool. Is there anything, like, do you have any taste or certain things that you just don't like that you won't eat?
liver. Um,
Okay.
I cannot eat. I like spices, but I don't like hot foods, meaning
Oh,
like
okay.
Scotch bonnet peppers. The hottest I'll have a jalapeno pepper versus because sometimes
Okay.
people don't know the difference between spice and heat. So,
Right. Hmm.
so that's important to know, especially when people are traveling. Oh,
Right.
Indian food is hot and spicy. I said it can be spicy, but it doesn't have to be hot. And I can
Right.
recommend, when you're going out there, this is what you need to ask and look
Right.
for versus
Hmm.
saying I don't want to eat that.
Right.
And thank God for I grew up. I'm Jewish,
Hmm.
so I have that palate. Plus, I grew up on my block. I had people from England, I had people from
Oh,
Jamaica, people
cool.
across the street from Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Then I married a Puerto Rico, no, Puerto Rican. My ex-husband's
Hmm.
Egyptian. My
That's
whole
really cool.
family is something. So nobody's the same in my family, which is good.
Right.
I mean, we have all races and religions in my family, so
That's
it's
cool.
good to try different foods. And our kids grew up not being picky because of
Right.
it. So
And where are you from then? Like, what state are you from?
I'm originally from New York.
New York. Okay.
I'm born in the Bronx, Long Island girl.
Mhm.
But my background is my father is from the Ukraine and my
Mhm.
mother's side is from Romania,
Oh
so
wow.
Eastern Europe. But I'm third generation here, so
Mhm.
eventually I'd like to go and see where my family came from.
Right, right. That's really cool. Nice. So do you let's see. So does your husband just cook whatever he decides, or do you ever like have any input?
Oh, we both decide. He'll say, "Well, I'm taking out ground beef. What do you want? How do you want me to cook it?"
Mhm.
So, we made stuffed peppers the other day
Oh, those are
together, and
good.
so we usually plan it out what we're gonna do.
Mhm. That's good. So basically, so now you do baking and stuff, and you said you like to do breads. Are they like sweet breads or like
Oh, anything.
sandwich type bread?
No, I like doing the quick breads like banana or
Oh yeah, yeah.
donut
Those are good.
or right now I'm trying to do the gluten free with the
Mm.
almond milk and stuff because I'm a dialysis patient, so I have to watch
Okay.
what I eat. So
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
trying to get away from the processed foods
Mhm.
and do more of homemade and stuff. I'm
Right.
not into right into the time of making breads where it has to sit and rise and sit and rise again.
Right, right.
And right now with the humidity here in Florida, I'd rather wait till like October, November to do that. So
Oh, okay.
during the summer, it's more like right. I'm gonna make a peach cake
Oh,
today.
yeah.
It's like pineapple upside down, but it's with peaches.
Oh, okay.
So
Oh,
I'm gonna
cool.
make that today, and I like working with fruits and vegetables that are in
Mhm.
season.
Mhm.
So,
Very cool. Well, I can say I am not especially a good cook. I I tell people unless you're in my family, I'm never gonna cook for you. 'Cause
oh, well, you
it's
can be a good taster of food.
yeah, yeah. It's like because it's not even. Uh, I'd say it's not even that I'm necessarily bad. It's just that as my mom would say, it's nothing to write home about. Like it's good enough for what it is, but it's nothing like impressive. So I'm not showing it off to anyone.
Yeah, I got you. I got you.
Yeah.
We make sure that if you're gonna come to my house,
Hmm.
it's not showing off, but I just like cooking for guests and to get a
Right.
good meal. So you'll
Right.
be invited to have a good meal with me.
Okay, awesome. I do like baking. I don't do it a ton, but baking is what I prefer, like over cooking. Um,
Awesome.
and there was a therapist in our BNI chapter. He actually left because his wife, what is it? I think she got into school over in Scotland. So they're moving to
Oh,
Edinburgh,
cool.
Scotland, like in a month. So that's pretty cool. But we were talking about cooking versus baking, and he was saying how it's usually the people who like set rules and like processes and stuff that like baking because it's pretty. You usually have to stick to the recipe pretty closely, and cooking is kind of like do whatever you feel at the moment, like throw something else in or do whatever. So
Exactly.
yeah, so I'm definitely baking. I'm like, just tell me what to do, and I'll do it.
Exactly. My husband would rather cook than bake because he doesn't
Really?
like to measure or anything like that. He likes taking things and experimenting and throwing things in the pot and
Right,
see how
right.
it comes out.
That's great. Yeah, no, I don't want to have to, yeah, be creative with cooking. Just tell me what to do. That's awesome. So, okay, so I have one last question for you,
Yes.
and this is like my wild card question.
All
Do you
right.
do you have any ghost or alien stories that you could share with us?
Well, because I'm Jewish,
Uh-huh.
I believe in angels. And I
Okay.
believe that when somebody passes away, they're, when things happen around you, they're there.
Mhm.
And I remember when I was learning how to drive, and I learned how to drive as an older age, not
Mhm.
as a young person. And my grandfather had passed away,
Mhm.
and my father's teaching me how to drive, and he I kept feeling somebody poke me,
Mhm.
and my father said I wasn't doing that, and had to be my grandfather because he was the one that taught my dad and my uncle and all my cousins
Mhm.
how to drive, so he wanted to let me know
Oh,
that he was in the car with me.
that he's still, yeah, he's trying to help learn, teach you as well.
Yes.
That's really neat. That's cool. So, and do you have like, I don't know, like close friends or family that have told you any crazy stories or like anything unexplained or similar, like angel stories?
No, not really. I
Mhm.
mean, well, yeah, my daughter, when she was little, she used to have these dreams about being in a circle of
Mhm.
people. And then I was showing her pictures from when my father had his bar mitzvah. Now,
Mhm.
all these people have passed on, and she
Right.
would say to me, I know that person. I said, how do you know that person? That person passed away before I was even born.
Right.
And she said, well, she was in my dream.
Oh my goodness.
And it was my great grandmother, his grandmother,
Mhm.
and some of his aunts and uncles that she's never seen these people before, but she
Right,
had
right.
these dreams, and they were very vivid to her that
Right.
she remembered these people.
Oh wow.
And
That's
I just said, when you were little, that they wanted to know who you were, and
mhm.
they came to visit you.
Right, right. Oh, that's neat. How do you remember like how old was she roughly when that was
She
happening?
had to be 7 or 8 years
Oh,
old, maybe
okay. Yeah,
maybe a
yeah.
little. She's 31 now, so
Yeah.
this is when she was little. And you know, I, I think that when not it's not such a scary thing when I think that
Right.
maybe somebody's seen somebody who's passed on. I mean,
Mhm.
I like being scared. I love going to haunted mansion and
Oh,
stuff,
yeah, yeah, me too.
but I don't like to be those thriller movies or something like that,
mhm.
like those really scary movies on TV.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I can't watch them, but something like that where it's a calming effect also to me.
Right. Yeah, it's like a comforting thing because it's
Yeah.
someone, yeah, someone you know. It's not a scary like demon, like
No,
entity.
no. I think it's a positive thing. I always feel.
yeah. That's awesome. Well, thank you for sharing. I like asking that question because I don't really have anything of my own.
Oh,
So I always want to know what everybody else has. And I have a working theory since I started asking this question, sort of like the cooking and baking, that people are either ghost leaning or alien leaning. And usually you don't have both stories. There's one person who has broken my theory.
oh,
And she yeah, she's over in London, and she had two alien stories and like lots of ghost stories from like growing
wow.
up in one of those old, English houses and stuff. But yeah, it's like what, it's like it's always been either or. so
Well, she's from England and those old houses and stuff and
I
historically.
know. Yeah, yeah. She said they actually even had their house basically like cleansed, like exercised, because it was starting to be not just like harmless noises and stuff. It was, yeah,
Oh wow.
got a
Yeah,
little
okay.
unfriendly.
Did she actually have to move from her house or
No, they didn't move. They just had like a priest or somebody come in and like
wow.
cleanse the house, and now they talk to the house. Like if they're gonna do something like some kind of remodeling or whatever, they'll just be like, hey, we're gonna be doing this, but we think you'll like it, that kind of deal. And like they haven't had any trouble since.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, somebody lived there
right.
before, you might as well get permission to do
Right.
it.
right, right. Yeah, so I just love hearing people's different different
That's cool
stories.
though.
But yeah, but whenever works for you, I would love to be on your podcast.
I will
I
definitely
I
let you know we're a couple of weeks behind because
yeah.
everybody wants to be on.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, you're
So,
fine. And I love listening to podcasts. I've not been on one yet, but yeah, that would be
well,
really
let me give you
cool.
listeners how to find it. And
Yes.
if you go to facebook.com,
Mhm.
and I'm sure you're going to put this under the captions for this show.
Mhm.
Um, you're going to put out
Yeah.
it's my last name, Echevarria Travel,
Okay. Okay.
and it'll be in the description of this show. And it's on Fridays. I do post the YouTube link and I
Okay.
post the podcast link.
Okay.
And it's called Talk Travel with Cheryl. And
Mhm.
it's usually up by 10 o'clock in the morning. If it's
Okay.
so, it takes me a couple hours to clean them up and all
Right.
that. And but lately, it's better watching it on YouTube because a lot of my travel partners, they do videos and slides, and they show a lot of things going on, itineraries and stuff. So I would recommend, if you have time, to watch the YouTube channel
Hmm.
to see the full presentation. And please like us as well and subscribe.
Yeah.
And we look forward to you listening and feedback.
Very cool. So I have to. Oh, geez, sorry, the cat jumped up again.
That's okay. Hi,
So this is
kitty.
here. Show your face. This is Lord Woogums.
Aw, Siamese.
Yeah, he's like a Siamese mix, but we never knew what he was mixed with. But he was like a
Aw.
rescue cat,
And it's Lord Williams.
Lord Woogums.
Williams.
Yeah.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah, it's Woogums is the name of a random alley in Chicago that I used to live close to, and I just thought that that would be such a good pet name, so I just held on to it.
Aw.
And then I of course wanted him to have a title, so I made him a lord.
Yes, and you have to send it to Queen Elizabeth or
I
Prince
know.
Charles to get him knighted, right?
Exactly. That's awesome. I don't remember what it was about, but or what it how to do it, but I heard recently that like you know how there are the ways that you can like buy someone a star or whatever, like name a star after someone.
Yes.
So they now have a way. There's something in Scotland where it's like you go online or whatever, and essentially you purchase like 1 square foot of land that they're selling, and then that automatically makes you a lord or a lady because
Wow.
because of like what like the technical rules in Scotland. So now someone's just selling like a square foot at a time so that you can be a lord or a lady. I'm like,
Wow.
yeah, I haven't
Cool.
seen, I don't know how much it is, but I'm like, that might be on my Christmas list.
I'll look it up for you.
Thanks. But yeah, so maybe I'll be a lady within the
You're
next
always a
year.
lady. You're very nice.
Thank you. But well, thank you so much for being on. This was really fun, and it
I
was
enjoyed
great.
myself.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know we're gonna chat, so I'll go off of live, like I'll sign off here, and then we'll chat in Zoom about going live in Facebook. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I'll see you in a minute.
Bye.
Thanks everyone for watching. I'm Amy Mitchell with Houses of Windsor, and this is Virtual Tea Time with Amy. And we will see you all next time. Cheers.
Take care.